So, guys, Manchester United return in Premier League action tomorrow afternoon at home to relegation threatened Everton again on match day 13 of the 24-25 Premier League season at Old Trafford on tomorrow's Premier League match day, where Everton again are fighting a massive relegation battle again with so far only 11 points from 12 Premier League games so far. It's safe to say that Everton yet again are in another mess. Sean Dyche, the job that he's had to inherit, the job he's had to take, and the job he's had to basically try and get Everton out of the mess that football club is in which again a top club they once were under ex Manchester United manager in David Moyes. The mess that Everton find themselves in again, it's not really a big surprise. And I think Manchester United are the massive favourites going into tomorrow's Premier League game at Old Trafford. And I think looking at it from a bigger picture, Manchester United are going to face quite a tough game because obviously Everton, like I said, are facing the prospect of relegation again, which a club like Everton don't really need to be in the Championship, because if they were to get relegated this season, which I really hope they do, because I think Everton do need a massive reality check. They do need a massive rebuild to get Everton back to the levels that they were once at under David Moyes. And I think look at all the previous managers before that have all failed at Everton Football Club. It's not really a big surprise that the job that Sean Dyche has still got at Everton is to basically turn the mess around that was left once Moyes left for the Manchester United manager's job once Sir Alex Ferguson retired. I mean, if you're looking at it from the Everton fan point of view, 11 points from 12 with 12 games gone and there's only 26 games remaining, Everton need to start picking up points quite quick. And I still think in my view that they will be gone at the end of the season, because I think there's bigger and better clubs than Everton. I think Everton need the reality of a relegation. I think Everton do need to get relegated because I think it would benefit the football club long term. Obviously, the financial mess Everton are in, it's quite surprising that Everton are still in this division in the first place, because I feel sorry for clubs like Leeds. I feel sorry for clubs like Leicester. And you also have to take clubs like Burnley into account as well. With Everton 2 seasons ago were given a massive points deduction and managed to survive. And once again, Everton are in a financial mess. We're meant to be getting another points deduction. And all of a sudden, Everton have been bailed out by the Premier League again. And the Premier League have allowed cheating clubs like Everton to get along with it. And they're allowing them to carry on with their financial mess. They're allowing them to carry on with their cheating ways. And I think, not being disrespectful to the Everton fans or the Everton supporters, but I've got my own personal reasons why I want Manchester United to beat them tomorrow afternoon. Because in my view, Manchester United need the points more. We have only got 16 points from 12 games. We are miles off where we should be. We are basically 20 points off where we could have been if the season would have been better under the previous manager in Eric Ten Hag. And we are now trusting Ruben Amorim to all of a sudden keep picking up points, keep picking up wins, and keep picking up positive results. And one thing I was listening to before I started this look at is that Paul Merson on Sky Sports News is basically talking an absolute load of waffle again, where basically he's come out and stated that Ruben Amorim should be doing press conferences. He should be going into the press conference instead of focusing on the team, instead of focusing on the training, and instead of focusing on the performances. If Paul Merson wants a bit of reality check here, look at the job Eric Ten Hag had to inherit. The club was a mess. Ruben Amorim has had to come in mid-season because we sacked another manager because the club's in a mess. And you're basically stating that he should be focusing on talking about Manchester United instead of focusing on Manchester United. We are in a big mess. We are 20 points off from 12 games. We've only picked up 16 points so far this season. We're only 7 points clear of the bottom 3, with Ipswich, Palace and Southampton in the current Premier League's bottom 3. And you're coming out stating that he should be doing the press conferences. He should be talking about Manchester United instead of focusing on the big problem that have been the performances, that have been the results. I don't know what Paul Merson's agenda is against Manchester United. He's probably worried that Man United have got the better manager. He's probably worried now that Manchester United will be getting a massive, massive comeback under him. And he's probably worried that Manchester United will end up catching Arsenal come at the end of the season. And he's basically worried that Arsenal aren't going to win anything. And that's the problem with people like Paul Merson. I mean, I respect him as a player, I respect him as a pundit, but some of the crap that I am hearing this guy talk is quite frankly unbelievable. Like, I don't know what his agenda is against Manchester United, and I don't know what this problem is with the football club. But at the end of the day, Ruben Amorim has been tasked to turn this mess around. He's been asked to turn the season around. He's been asked to get this Premier League team up the Premier League table, because with the current standings as they are and the current ways all the cup competitions are looking, Manchester United have already got it tough. Manchester United have already got enough going on as it currently is at the top of the football club. Man United have got enough mess going on that we need to be focusing on ourselves and our results and our performances. We can't be getting any distractions. The press and the media need to back the fuck off Ruben Amorim. They really need to get off that manager's back. They need to stop having an agenda against him, and they need to stop slating him in the press. Like, I'm sorry to say that it's not my fault Eric Ten Hag failed. We all knew it was going to fail. And I did say by Christmas time in the third season, Eric Ten Hag would be gone. And I was proved right again. I knew Eric Ten Hag was going to go. I knew a change needed to happen. And I think Manchester United finally have got their act into gear and brought the right manager in. By his body language, by the facial expressions, by the vibe I get off this manager, Manchester United are in for very, very exciting times. And I think Manchester United will pile the pressure on Everton. And I think if Everton fail to win tomorrow and results go against them today, as well as tomorrow, I can't see any reason why Sean Dyche shouldn't be sacked. I think Sean Dyche has done a good job to an extent to get Everton out of the mess that they're in. But the last 3 to 4 seasons in a row, under Lampard, under Ronald Koeman, Carlo Ancelotti, Wayne Rooney, the amount of problems Everton Football Club have actually got, it's not a surprise that Everton once again find themselves 2 points above the bottom three, 11 points from 12. If you're an Everton fan and you're looking at the performances, can you really blame Sean Dyche for the way Everton are? I can't put any blame on Sean Dyche. He's been basically given an impossible task to get Everton out of the dire situation they are in. But I also don't think the ownership's helping either, because there's a lack of money now at Everton. There's a lack of investment in the team. There's a lack of quality players in that team. And if I look at the Everton team as a whole, do those Everton problems surface on the pitch? Yes, they do. Because if you look at the lack of quality in their squad, and you look at a lot of their players now that are ex-Premier League players of big clubs, all of a sudden have been brought into Everton to try and somehow turn their form around so it helps Everton in the future. I don't think Everton are benefiting because they've brought in players that are a major risk. There's a lot of unknown players in their squad that don't really get in their team. And there's a lot of old age players in their squad when you're coming up quite a youthful Manchester United now with the likes of Garnacho, Rasmus Højlund, Amad Diallo, Kobe Mainoo, Manuel Ugarte. The amount of youth that Manchester United are trying to build with for the future is very, very exciting. And Sean Dyche is basically picking from players like Ashley Young and James Tarkowski and Jordan Pickford and Seamus Coleman. I mean, Everton haven't helped themselves by sacking all the managers they've sacked. Everton haven't really got the right structure when they needed it. I thought when they had Ronald Koeman in charge and they had players like Wayne Rooney and Davy Klaassen coming in, I was expecting very, very exciting times for Everton, because their transfer window back then was very, very good. And the quality players that they brought in failed to establish themselves as good Everton players, because unfortunately the manager couldn't gel them in as a team. He couldn't get them playing as one whole solid squad. There was a lot of players in Everton that were brought in based on the money that they spent. And money, again, has been spent badly at Everton, like it has been spent badly at Manchester United. And if you're an Everton fan, I think, in my view, you would benefit by going down. I think you would benefit by getting relegated. And I know I don't wish relegation on any club. You don't want to be in the Championship because it's 46 games. is a really, really tough league to get out of. And you've got the playoffs, you've got the automatics. And again, you're playing 8 games more than the Premier League and you're expected to pick up points. But if you look what happened to Aston Villa and you look what happened to Fulham and also Newcastle, when they all got relegated to the Championship, it actually benefited them long term. And I think maybe Everton going down this season might benefit them because it might force the owners to sell. It might force a major clear out at Everton. And I think, standing by Sean Dyche, I think giving Sean Dyche what he wants and bringing in players with the experience that he knows and bringing in quite more youthful players. I think Everton are relying on the old players now. And I think long term, it's not really benefiting Everton. Everton are in a mess and you've got to feel sorry for their fans. You've got to feel sorry for their supporters. I don't feel sorry for all of them due to my own reasons. And I don't have any sympathy for the mess that they are in. But you've got to feel sympathy for half of their fans and their supporters because going down is a horrible feeling. It's not a nice feeling getting relegated. It's going to be a tough, tough comeback for Everton to get back to this league once they finally go down, which I'm kind of praying is going to be this season. Because, again, I can't stand Everton Football Club. It's not I can't stand them as a club. It's more, it's the way they're run. It's the way they treat their fans. It's the way they treat their supporters. And all the money has gone on this top elite football stadium because this is going to be their last season at Goodison Park. And I think, going to Goodison Park's always got that difficulty about it. Obviously, we're on home soil tomorrow from Manchester United's point of view. And I think, the last season at Goodison has to be a good one because if Everton do go down, which I do think they will, you're leaving Goodison, your home of so many decades, and you're going to be playing at a brand new state-of-the-art stadium. You've got to wonder what is going on at Everton because what I'm trying to get at is all that money has gone on a brand new elite stadium. They want to have the best stadium in the Championship, which they will. They'll have the best stadium in the Championship by an absolute mile. No one will be able to compete with Everton's new stadium. Just by the other Championship grounds, if you look at all of them, no one will be able to compete with Everton's because it's looking nice. It's looking very, very decent. And again, you've got to wonder where all that money's come from because Everton, again, are struggling financially. They were meant to be given a points deduction this season. Where all of a sudden is that points deduction gone? Why have Everton not been punished for breaching financial fair play? And why have Everton been allowed to get away with it for so long? Clearly, there's been a major cover-up. Clearly, the Premier League are biased towards Everton because when Villa and Fulham and Newcastle all got relegated, the Premier League panicked because the amount of money that Villa and Newcastle and Fulham all bring to the Prem is huge. The millions and billions of pounds that all three of those clubs offer to the Premier League is fantastic. I don't think the Premier League can lose Everton. I think if the Premier League lose Everton, the Premier League will struggle financially. I think the Premier League would struggle to cope with a club like Everton based on their history and based on their long-term longevity because they're really the only long-term standing club in the Premier League that's left. Everyone has been in and out that division, including Manchester United ourselves. We've not been in the top tier all our life. It took a long time to get back to this. And Everton are in a situation where if you get relegated, you probably do deserve it. And the Premier League will be getting a massive reality check themselves because they've allowed this cheating football club to make other clubs suffer in the long term. Because if Everton would have gone down the season they should have gone when they were on the verge of going and they survived again, clubs like Leeds suffered, clubs like Leicester suffered, clubs like Burnley all went down because of Everton. And then look at the shit Everton put all three of those clubs through. It's unacceptable. It's not fair, and the Premier League have to pay the price. And I think tomorrow the result will go one way and one way only. It will be a Manchester United win because I think the damage Man United could do to Everton will be quite significant. Everton are leaking goals. Their defence is all over their place. They've lost a lot of the midfield they had from last season. And really, if you look at their attack, I mean, you're basically relying on Calvert-Lewin and Beto. And if I was an Everton fan and that was my strike force, I would be quite concerned. I'd be quite frustrated because where's your goals coming from? Because Calvert-Lewin gets injured a lot. Beto is a risk that they've taken. And if you look at the rest of the Everton squad, where's the quality? I mean, you've got Dwight McNeil, you've got an aging Seamus Coleman, you've got a finished Ashley Young. I mean, really, if you're looking at it from a bigger point of view, and I'm not saying he's a top goalkeeper, but the only decent player, if I look at that Everton team as it currently stands, is Jordan Pickford. And I'm not a big fan of him personally for England or Everton themselves, but he's your best player by an absolute mile because the rest of the squad is done. The squad is overaged now. The squad is quite tired. And you're relying on a lot of your young players to get you results. And, Everton in their last meeting, I think, got a point away at Brentford. I don't know how Brentford didn't win that game. I'm quite surprised they didn't because of the situation Everton are in. But again, like I keep saying, results have got to go against them today. Results have got to go against them tomorrow, which I think both will happen. And I think the pressure that is on Sean Dyche is unfair. I think the criticism he gets is unjustified because look what he did for Burnley. The problem at Everton, because there is no money and Everton have to sell massively to reinvest into their squad, are you surprised Sean Dyche's team is struggling? Are you surprised Everton are fighting relegation? I'm not. I knew Everton were going to be fighting again this season amongst Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton. Like, I didn't expect Palace to be down there. I didn't expect Wolves to be down there. And personally, I'm not being rude. I didn't expect Everton to be struggling with two of the three promoted clubs, Ipswich and Southampton. The only decent team so far, in my view, that's come out from the Championship, who I think will survive, I think two of them might survive out of the three, is Ipswich and Leicester. I think both of them will get out of the mess they're in. I think both of them will survive this season and escape relegation. Everton are going to end up getting drawn in because if you look at the next few fixtures at Everton, and we're going to look at them now, where are the points coming from? Where are the results coming from? Everton, I don't think, stand a chance this month of realistically picking up any points. And I think by Christmas, and we're not even in December yet, if you've only got 11 points from 12, where the hell are Everton expecting to find the next few results? Because after Manchester United, which will be a defeat, you look at Everton's fixtures, they've got Manchester United away, Wolves at home, Liverpool at home, Arsenal away, Chelsea at home, Man City away, and Nottingham Forest at home. You are looking at the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Premier League games in a row for Everton. Well, you're not going to beat Manchester United. Wolves, you could get a point because Wolves are also struggling, but then Wolves have got back-to-back wins in their last 2 games in a row. Liverpool are running away with the Premier League, so you're not going to beat them. But then Liverpool are struggling with a few injury problems. Arsenal away, you're not going to get anything from. Chelsea at home, Chelsea are very hit and miss in the Premier League, but they're amazing in the Europa Conference League. Man City away, it's probably the best time to be playing Man City, especially when they've gone 6 games in a row without a win. And Nottingham Forest at home, who have been so far the surprise package, I can't see you beating them. So you're going to lose against Manchester United. You're going to lose to Liverpool, lose to Arsenal, lose to Chelsea, lose to Man City. If you can get something against Nottingham Forest from an Everton fan point of view, that's great. Wolves at home, if you can get a point, you're probably going to get 1 point from 21 in your next 7. If I was an Everton fan, I would be panicking because that's not looking great, is it? It's not looking good, bruv, is it? Like, I don't know how Everton are going to survive this season. Look at those next 7 games. Where are your results coming from? Because you even look at their January fixtures going into 2025. Away to Bournemouth, at home to Aston Villa, home to Tottenham, and away to Brighton. So that's the next 9 games. That's the next 11 games that you've got in the league. I am struggling to see Everton. I think Everton could lose all these 11 games. I'm not saying they're going to. They might surprise me. If I was an Everton fan, which I'm glad I'm not because they're a banter club, I would be concerned that you're doomed. You're basically doomed because you aren't going to win those next 11, especially your December fixtures, because Everton aren't going to be able to jump into January. There's no money. All the other clubs around them will be able to because there's money. Everton have got to sell to buy. Who are you going to sell? Who are you going to buy? Because not a lot of clubs are going to want your players. The only sellable asset that they've got in their team, which will be, for me, this tomorrow, if Jared Brantwaite starts at Everton tomorrow, it's kind of a dress rehearsal for him for his impending future move to Manchester United, which I still think will happen. I still think Brantwaite will end up becoming a Manchester United player, which I would be very, very excited about because it will remove Lindelof, it will remove Maguire, and it will remove Johnny Evans. It's kind of a dress rehearsal from him to see where he's at. Is he the level that we want? Is he the level that we require? Is he good enough to be a Manchester United player? He's got to start proving it, and he's got to start keeping himself fit. The only concern I've got from Jared Brantwaite, he's picking up a lot of injuries. Maguire does that, Lindelof does that, and Johnny Evans done that. All three of them are unavailable for Man United, which is not really a bad thing. But again, we are still talking about rotating this squad again for tomorrow's game. I've got concerned by the amount of rotation just because Manchester United are playing 9 games in a month. Again, we are trying to hide behind excuses. I think Manchester United need to get on with it, stop moaning and stop complaining about it. You're professional footballers. You're here to do a job. You're here to represent the shirt, the club, the fans and the supporters on and off the pitch. Don't moan about it. Don't criticise it. Just get on and do it. Like, I don't want that team massively rotated tomorrow, but I think we will have to do it. I would still, in my view, go with the same back three that started against Bodo Glimt on Thursday night, Mazraoui, De Ligt and Martinez. I think the left wing back position, I think the reality check from Thursday night is with Malacia. I think all the injury problems he's had, all the injury problems he could potentially get in the future are going to make him even worse. I thought the performance on Thursday was shocking. To chuck him straight back in over a year and a half out with bad injuries, chucking Malacia back in Thursday night was a massive, massive reality check for Ruben Amorim. But again, Ruben Amorim was put in that situation by the football club, which is wrong. And I think realistically, the only candidate that will come back in tomorrow, which I would replace Malacia with, would be with Luke Shaw and put him at left wing back. Again, it's a risk because if you look at Luke Shaw's injury record, it's not exactly looking pretty either. And all Luke Shaw's got to do is bend down and touch his toes or tie his shoelaces, and he gets himself injured. And I think we are trying to get these left backs in quicker because we've got no money in January, which I still don't believe. I still think we need a brand new left back because I think Ruben Amorim has realised himself that Manchester United have unfortunately fucked him up here because the left back situation is at crisis point and we need a left back, and Manchester United are trying to go and get one, which I think they're going to have to do. We can't wait till the summer. We've got to get one in January, which Man United will have to sanction the signing. If that's Alphonso Davies from Bayern Munich, I would be very excited because I believe, in my view, we've got the best left back in the world, in my personal opinion. I've always wanted Alphonso Davies at Manchester United. I've always rated him. I've always liked him. And I think if he's the left wing back that Ruben Amorim desires and wants, you've got to sanction that signing. If we could get that done in January, it would potentially end Luke Shaw and Malacia's careers at this football club. I think the only way to get Luke Shaw out would be to terminate his contract. I think Malacia, we are going to have to sell at a massive loss because I don't think any clubs are going to come chasing Malacia. I don't think any clubs are going to come chasing Luke Shaw. And I think Alphonso Davies will be the left wing back starter in most of our games. And if we could somehow beat Real Madrid to that signing, which I still don't think will happen, I still think Alphonso Davies will end up at Real Madrid because he's always been destined to head there. It would be really, really a massive L for Real Madrid if they lost Alphonso Davies and Lenny Yoro to Manchester United. It would be laughable because look at the situation Real Madrid are in now. Conceding goals. They got hammered 3-0 by Liverpool in the Champions League. I mean, you've got to look at Liverpool and look at the quality, but look at the failure of Real Madrid by not signing Lenny Yoro. And again, from my point of view, the back three we can't really change because so far the signing of the season for Manchester United has to go to Mazraoui. He's been so impressive since he's been here. I've been impressed by his performances, by his consistency, and by the quality that he's offering in the back three. And again, it will be interesting to see when we don't have the ball, do we go back to playing the 4 centre backs, the 3 midfielders, and then we play the 2 wing backs, and then we then play one up front and go a 3-4-2-1, or do we stick with the 3-4-3, which Ruben Amorim really wants to use? The thing is, I don't want the players winning. I don't want the players getting their own way. I want the manager to be putting his bloody foot down and demanding that we go with this setup, we go with this formation, and we go with this approach. Because I don't want the players getting their own way again, because they did that to Ten Hag, did it to Van Gaal, did it to Moyes, did it to Mourinho, did it to Solskjaer. They did it to Rangnick, and look where all them have gone. They all got sacked by the football club. So I think Ruben Amorim has got to lay down the law, and he's got to lay down the demands that he wants out of the players. Because if the players are going to start moaning and they're going to start complaining, then eventually what will happen in 3 years' time, in this exact space right here, right now, we'll be sacking the manager, and then Ruben Amorim will get blamed, and it will be all his fault. That's not what I want. I want this to work. I want this to be successful, and I want the best of Ruben Amorim. And I'm going to back his decisions. I'm going to back this manager because he gives me a good vibe. He brings me excitement. There's something about him that I actually like managing this football club. And I think going forward, he is the correct one. And I'm hoping that is going to be the case. Because if it's not, and we're in the mess again in 3 years' time, I don't know where we're going to go. I don't know what path we're going to go down to. But I think the last 2 games, I think Ruben Amorim has realised the intensity of this job. I think he's realised, oh shit, what have I entered? Look at the mess I've had to come into. Look at the lack of quality. I can't play the way I want to play. I can't use the setup. I can't use my tactical approach. I can't use this 3-4-3. Because when he had to change it just to get that result, because it benefited the bloody players again, that worries me. Because the players are getting their own way. The Player FC is clearly back. And people need to realise that. Player FC's returned. And unfortunately, it's not a good way. It's wrong. The players should not be, dictating what they want. The players should be getting on what the manager's expecting of them. If you're having to change the formation, and again, it was a positive thing to do, but if you want to go with this 3-4-3 setup and this is what you want to stick to, you've got to lay down this. And again, what annoys me, we've got the excuses from the commentators on TNT and Sky, BBC, ITV. We've got the excuses of, well, he's only been there 2 weeks. It's going to take time. There is going to be mistakes. There can't be time for mistakes anymore. We need to get this right. We can't be hiding. Well, he's only trained the players for 2 weeks. What do you expect? Well, I expect the players to have learnt what he wants. I expect the players to get on with it. I expect the players to basically, do you know what? You're right. We need to learn this. We need to get on with this decision, and we need to do basically what the manager wants. We need to listen more, and the players don't want to listen because they think they're bigger and better than the football club. And unfortunately, if they win, they'll get their own way. They'll sack the manager. But I think I think Ruben Amorim's realised their lack of quality, and he realises that certain players who started that game against Bodo Glimt on Thursday, and again at Ipswich on last Sunday, which we only got a point from, which again was really, really disappointing. I mean, if we can't beat Ipswich, and we can't beat Everton, then I will also start to struggle where the Premier League points are going to come from, because again, we've got to play Arsenal Wednesday, we've got Man City this month, we've got Newcastle and Forest, Wolves. I mean, we've got to start picking up points quite quickly, and that starts by beating Everton Sunday. We have to win. It's a simple case, really. It's a must-win game now. Every game is a must-win. And if we don't get the result and we don't get the points, Man United are in big, big trouble again. And I don't want to be in the bottom lot. I don't want to be competing with the bottom teams. I want to be up the top. That's the level that I think Ruben Amorim wants to get the club at. And I think he can do it. But he's got to be given the players that he wants to rebuild this squad. And it is going to need a mega rebuild. I think there will be quite a lot of changes from Thursday night's game. I think Luke Shaw will come in for Malacia. I think, we're starting to see the best of Manuel Ugarte. And I mean, we've been saying that for 4 to 5 games in a row now. Look at the quality that Manuel Ugarte has brought to Manchester United. Look at the consistency. Look at the level of performances. I mean, it's been quite a good signing, hasn't it? And again, it did take 3 months. It took 3 months too long. Ugarte should have been brought in earlier when we expressed our seriousness about bringing him in the first place. And we should have got that deal done with PSG quite quicker, and we didn't. And I don't think that benefited us, because we were stuck with the same midfield that we had last season with McTominay, Hannibal Mabry, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Ericsson, Mount. Like, we were stuck with the same midfield at the start of the season. That did not benefit anyone. And again, we lost 2 midfielders for the price of 1. And again, I think for me, we still missed a bargain on Rabiot. I think Rabiot would have been a decent acquisition to help improve the midfield for the rest of the season, especially on a free transfer. I think Man United have missed the boat there. But again, we have to get on with it now. I think the midfield needs to go back to a midfield 3, because I think, I don't think it's benefiting starting either Fernandes or Mason Mount in that front 3. I don't think it's benefiting either of them. I think both of them look more comfortable in the midfield 3 setup. I think there can be a lot more attacking build-up play through the midfield instead of putting either of one of them in the front 3, because I don't think that's helping the front 3 either. I know we're playing 2 wing-backs now, and obviously we have got Ahmad, who I think, in my view, should be coming back into that team tomorrow afternoon, because I don't know what Ahmad did wrong not to start against Bodo Glimt. I thought he did 10 times more than what Anthony offered the whole of that first half. I thought Anthony was absolutely shocking. Like, again, a signing that should have never, ever have been sanctioned by Manchester United in the first place. Nearly 95 million euros to buy Anthony from Ajax. Look how bad that's turned out to be. That was down to Ten Hag for wanting him so much. And I wanted him. I hold my hands up. I wanted Anthony as well, because I thought we finally have that solution on the right wing. I've been wrong. A lot of people have had to hold their hands up, including myself, and I will do it again, and I will stand by it now. I thought Anthony would work. It didn't. Ahmad's now stepping up to the plate. I don't know why he didn't start against Bodo Glimt. Is it because of rotation? And we've got a lot of games in December. If that's the excuse, then again, if we heard injury crisis under Ten Hag, injury problems this, injury problems that, injury crisis, injury crisis, injury crisis. If we are now going to hear rotation, the amount of games these players are playing, then again, Manchester United will fail, because at the end of the day, these players are fresh. Everyone is sharp. Everyone's ready to play. We are getting back most of our injured players now. We only need Lindelof, Lenny Yoro, and it's Victor Lindelof. That's the only 3 other players that we've got long-term injuries at the moment. I don't know if Lenny Yoro will be ready for tomorrow. It's going to be a massive, interesting team selection if Yoro's in the squad. I think, again, like someone said on Thursday, if Lenny Yoro has been fit for training for weeks and he's ready to come back in, why is he not in the squad? Why is he not in the team? If he's fit and he's ready to go, Lenny Yoro should have been included on Thursday, because I think that game time and that benefit would have offered him a chance to start tomorrow's game. And knowing he wasn't in the squad or on the bench on Thursday night, I would hardly expect Yoro to be in the team tomorrow, because if he's not ready and he's not match fit, then you've got to question, how long's Yoro going to be out for? Because he's back in training. He's training with the first team. Are they trying to get his rehabilitation going as soft as possible before chucking him in? Because I think if we chuck him back in early and he gets injured again, we paid 60 million for Lenny Yoro from Lille. We got him over Real Madrid. So maybe Real Madrid have absolutely swooved an obstacle. Maybe they've absolutely gone away from a problematic player that was going to offer them problems. But to an extent, I don't think Lenny Yoro would have offered Real Madrid problems. I think he would have offered straight quality. And I think he will do that for Man United in his career. I think, in my view, I think Lenny Yoro will outstay Martinez. I think he'll outstay De Ligt, and potentially even Lindelof and Maguire, who I think will both go in the summer. I think there's no reason why not both of them aren't gone. So he'll outstay both of them, and he's got age on his side. He's got the youth on his side. And it would be nice to see him make his debut tomorrow. It'd be nice to give him some minutes in the team. But, I mean, even if he's on the bench, I mean, that's a positive. We can't turn that into a negative, because we kind of need to stick with a winning team. But I think if I'm Ruben Amorim, the changes you need to make are quite visible to the naked eye. I think we stick with the same back three. We stick with Onana in goal until any more goalkeeping mistakes. For the midfield, there's not much I would do except probably bring Mainu back in. And again, what we're hearing about Kobbie Mainoo is that he's not quite ready. He's not quite match fit, and he's not really ready to go straight back in. And again, that's a big concern in my view, that what's going on with Mainoo, because he's been back for Ipswich. He's been back for the Bodo Glimt game. If he's on the bench tomorrow and Mason Mount's ahead of him, and so is Bruno, then again, I've got big concerns that where does Kobbie Mainoo fit in this system? Will Kobbie Mainoo ever get a game again? I think he will. I don't think we've got anything to worry about, but I want Mainoo back in this team, because I think a Mainoo, Fernandes and Agate midfield three would be a lot more sustainable. I think it would be a lot more balanced, and I thought there would be a lot more creativity there. And I don't think Bruno's form is justifying his performances. I think his performances have gone way off again. They were bad against Ipswich. It was bad against Bodo Glimt on Thursday. And I think Bruno Fernandes is struggling now. I really have noticed in the last few performances alone, I think, in my view, Fernandes is starting to struggle. I think it's because he's being played inside the front three and he prefers to be in that midfield three instead, which is, for me, his more favourable position. And I think without Mainoo next to him, he hasn't got that extra creativity. And most of the creativity and the build-up plays having to come through Bruno Fernandes instead. So I would possibly bring Mainoo back in as soon as possible to benefit Bruno going forward a bit more actively. And just play Agate back at CDM, because, again, like I said, the quality he's brought into Man United is night and day. I can't believe how badly Agate was treated under Ten Hag. I can't believe how badly neglected he was. I thought Agate was badly mistreated by Ten Hag. I thought Ten Hag treated Agate like shit, because Eric Ten Hag had the obsession with Scott McTominay. He had an obsession with Hannibal Mabry. He didn't want to lose either of them, and was probably quite fucked off that he lost both of them just because we needed to fund the Agate move on a permanent deal, which has benefited us, because I think if we would have got Agate on loan with an obligation to buy, based on his performances so far, that obligation would have become permanent by now. I think Man United would have done that, because the performances have justified Agate's position in this team. And again, you can't really drop him. You can't drop Agate out this team, because the midfield looks then all over the ship. It really does look weak. We leak way too much when Agate's not in that midfield setup. And again, the back three is a lot more protected with Agate in front of them. And then you've got the two wing backs also supporting the back three as well. So I think Agate's already proved a point why we signed him. And I think his game's only going to get bigger and better once I think we get Mainu back in this team. And I think also when maybe we do go back to that midfield three, and we might revert back to that. We may go to the second half formation we did against Bodo Glimt on Thursday, but I think we will start off the 3-4-3. And I think if it starts going wrong and we can't keep the ball in the possession as much against Everton, I would then fully expect Ruben Amorim to switch the formation up, to go to a back four, play the midfield three, play two wing backs, and then also play one striker. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if he does tone down the formation change again, and he does basically let the players win, if you want to call it that. But I think, Ruben Amorim comes in with good admiration. He comes in with good quality, a good presence about him. And he's not afraid to change, which I think's a good thing. But I don't want the players saying, well, this formation's not suiting us. We need to change something because we can't get the ball. We can't really control the possession. We can't dominate the play. Maybe we do need the back four. And I don't want the players doing that. I don't want the players dictating to the manager. The manager's here to coach you lot because you've got so many managers sacked because you can't step up. And that's why Ruben Amorim's here, is to sort you lot out. And quite rightly too. I think Ruben Amorim has still got a massive job on his hands. I still think he's the right and the correct appointment, but we need Premier League wins. We need the results now, because if we can go into the Arsenal game on Wednesday night with a win on tomorrow afternoon, then the positivity, we've picked up 7 points from 3. I mean, he's done better than what Ollie did. He's done better than what Ragnick did. I mean, he's done better than Ten Hag. He's picked up more points than any of them did in their first 2 to 3 games. So that is a massive positive. And again, I will state, time's not on our side anymore. Time is massively not on our side. And again, Ruben Amorim has expressed that. We haven't got time anymore. We need to get on with it because too much time has been wasted already. And we need to get time back on our side. And I need to get you lot performing because I want him to be here forever, because he's got that vibe of this is a proper coach here. This is a proper manager that actually gets involved in everything. And he's got specialist coaches in each of the sectors of Manchester United's training. Ten Hag didn't fucking have that. So no wonder we failed. And no wonder we failed quite badly, because the club was just an absolute sinking fucking ship. And that ship is still, there's still a few leaks, there's still a few cracks, but Ruben Amorim is trying to rebuild the boat. He's trying to rebuild the boat into a yacht. We're trying to get to that level of quality where we go from a boat to a super yacht. Like, that's what we are. We're basically like one of the Pirates of the Caribbean boats. We are trying to get that boat and build it into a massive, big, fat-ass yacht. That's the level we're trying to get to, because the yacht's got the quality. It's got all the equipment. It's got all the gadgets. It's got all the facilities. Like, Ruben Amorim's had to come in and basically jump in at the deep end, and he's had to get on with it because, again, there's a lot of work still to do. And I will state that there is still massive, massive load of work to do to get this squad anywhere near it where it needs to be. But again, I'm feeling positive about tomorrow's game. I really, really want to beat Everton. I want to really smack them 5 to 6-0. I want Everton to go down. I want Everton to get relegated. And I want to be proved a point that Everton should no longer be a Premier League club. And clubs like Burnley and Leicester and Leeds should be compensated for the cheating methods that Everton have got going on at their football club, where they're run badly and they're getting away with cheating. So for me, I'm feeling confident and positive about tomorrow's game. I'm hoping we'll get the win. I'm hoping we'll get the 3 points. And I'm hoping we will see another good performance. And hopefully we will get a good start like we have had in our last 2 games against Bodo Glimt and Ipswich Town in the Premier League and the UEFA Europa League, respectively. So I've gone with my scoreline. I want to see a 5 to 6-0 win. That's probably more hopeful than being optimistic, but I'm optimistic we'll get the win and get the result. And I'm kind of hopeful that we will see quite a crushing win for us. But Everton are fighting relegation. Everton are fighting for points. Everton are really, really down there again, fighting for their lives. So expect Everton to go full guns blazing and try and get an unlikely result, but I think the result will go one way and one way only, and it will be a convincing Manchester United win tomorrow afternoon. So I hope you've enjoyed this look ahead. Please hit the like button, share button. Please keep subscribing to the channel, which is United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to always remember the notification bell. Put that bell on at all times. We've got plenty of brand new content planned for you today and tomorrow. We've got the full-time reaction from Old Trafford once the full-time whistle goes between Man United and Everton tomorrow evening. And we've got the Fortnite live event planned for tonight, the Chapter 2 remix finale. We're going to try and get some Call of Duty done as well, and maybe some Lego Harry Potter years 5 to 7. But yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon, whatever you're all doing. Like I said, I'm feeling positive about the game tomorrow, and we can get the result. I'm feeling positive under Ruben Amorim. He gives me that vibe. He gives me that excitement, and I've not felt this excited about Manchester United in a very, very long time. So enjoy Saturday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. Stay safe, be nice, and be kind to each other. You're all legends. You're all legendary, and I'll see you all on the next one.